playing a $600, 500,000 guarantee poker tournament down here in Round Rock, Texas. This event was part of the first Monster Meetup game hosted by the Lodge. There were a million day ones to choose from, so we started off playing day 1A. That way, if we busted this one, we had a lot more bullets to fire. About an hour goes by with some mildly interesting pots, and with blinds going up every 30 minutes, we start this hand with about 40 big blinds. I raise 10-8 of clubs, under the gun 1 to 2K, and just the low jack makes the call. Now, at this table, there's two camps developing. One is the loose passive camp, the other one, the tight passive camp. Nobody's being aggressive, they're all just calling, but there's some tight guys, there's some loose guys. In this hand, this opponent is in the loose camp, so keep that in mind going forward. We see a flop of King 9-6 rainbow. So we flop a gutter, backdoor flush draw. I c-bet 2K into 6, and he makes the call. The turn is an offsuit 7. So we drill the turn, and it's a club just in case we need it. I continue betting. I bet 6K, and low jack makes the call again. So we're getting really excited about this one. River comes an 8 of diamonds. Wah, wah. All the excitement on the turn kind of disappears. We still have a great hand, don't get me wrong, but it's a little bit harder to get value from other things that he could have. So I bet 7K on the river, and he does something I did not expect and raises to 15K, essentially a min raise on a 4-liner here. Very interesting. I guess he's repping Jack 10, or maybe he's just overvaluing another 10 and hoping to get a crying call from 2 pairs or something that I could have, or a set. I make the call for 8K more, and I'm surprised to see him turn over 8-5 of spades. So he called that pre-flop. He calls the gutter on the flop, which I might have just raised flop by him, and drills it on the turn and doesn't raise. And then when there's 4 to a straight on the river, raises the worst end of the straight. It was all over the place to me. I have no idea what was going on in this hand, but I'm so happy to take down a pretty interesting pot to start off the tournament. Only a few hands later, I look down at 9-8 offsuit on the button and open it up to 2K. Same guy, he's in the big blind, makes the call. Flop comes down Queen 8-3 with 2 diamonds, so I flop, pretty meager second pair. Big blind checks, I bet 2,500, and he raises to 6,200. Kind of a small raise, but he is on a short stack, so it makes sense. I got a little stubborn here. I made the call. Turn comes down a jack of diamonds. So even if he was semi-bluffing with a flush draw on the flop, trying to get it in with his sub 25 big blind stack, he gets there on this turn. He could still be jamming top pair for value here. So I'm not doing very well, even though I turn some sort of gutter. So anyway, I make the fold and move on to the next hand. All right, let's see what we can make happen with 2 8s this time. Hijack opens 2,300, cutoff calls. I call on the button, could squeeze, but I called this time, and both blinds come along as well. So we're in a 5-way pot, 12,000 chips in the middle. Let's go. Flop comes down 10-8-7. So we flop middle set, but there are a lot of draws out there. Something happened that's pretty interesting. Small blind leads 5,000 into 12K. Everybody folds around to me. I started this hand with about 55,000. I want to charge things like 10-9, 9-8, pocket 7s, pocket 9s, jack 10, all those types of things I think will continue no matter what I do. I raise it up to 14K. Not too big. I wanted to make it a size that looked like I could fold if he jammed over the top, but he pretty quickly folds and we take it down. All right, the blinds have gone up to 1K, and my opponent in this one raises the cutoff to 3,000. I have King 5 suited on the button. We're in position, so I make the call. Flop comes down, Jack, Deuce, Deuce, rainbow with 1 spade. Cutoff checks to me, interestingly, and he's part of the camp that's tight passive. So I feel like he has a lot of ace high when he does that on this board, or some sort of king high. Maybe he's just giving up. So I try to shake him. I bet 3,000, but he makes the call. The turn comes a 6 of spades. So now we're going for it. We're gonna try to get him off his hand on this turn and probably fire 3 if he calls again. I bet 7,500 this time, and we don't have to worry about the river because he folds, and our stack is now over double starting stack on first break. After break, we pick up the best hand in poker. We had 2 black aces under the gun. I raise it up to 2,500. Under the gun, 1 calls, and both blinds make the call. Here we go to a flop, 4 ways. It comes down queen, queen, 4, rainbow. I c-bet 3,000. Under the gun 1 makes the call. The small blind raises to 8,000. Excuse me, I said big blind is the tight passive guy. It was small blind who's tight passive guy. When small blind raises to 8,000, it's a small bet. He's raising. Everyone's so passive. Don't see him doing this with anything else but a queen. I just had my stubborn pants on. I could not fold this hand. Big blind folded. I make the call for 5K more, expecting under the gun 1 to also not feel great about it and do some hemming and hawing. But he doesn't hem and haw at all. He 3-bets the flop. He makes it 20,000. Small blind just calls the 12K more. I'm easily out of there. I'm just out of there. Very easy fold, and I'm just kicking myself that I didn't fold to the 8K raise. The one time where it doesn't matter that it's so small, I just think he's not raising anything else but a queen. And I just was very, very hopeful. Maybe he would for some reason. I got a little too attached to my aces is moral of the story. I'll let the footage play out.
Want a king?
So after that abysmal hand by me, we get moved tables, and the next hand that we get involved in is probably an hour and a half later. Blinds are up to 2K now, and in this one, Low Jack is a vlog watcher. He raises to 4,500. Small blind makes the call. I have King Jack offsuit in the big blind and make the call as well. 3 ways to a flop. Comes down King 8 deuce with 2 spades, so we flop top pair. We check to the original raiser, and he bets 6,000. Small blind folds. I make the call. Pretty standard. Turn comes the offsuit 10. I check it over to him, and he checks this one back. River comes an offsuit 4. So after he checks back the turn, I'm pretty confident we have the best hand. Now I just need to pick a size where I think he will call me with worse. Maybe a 10, maybe pocket queens, maybe an 8. So I go for a size of 15K into 24. About 2/3 of the pot, a little less. But Low Jack does not call. Instead, he jams all in for about 72,000 in chips. I really just wanted to fold immediately. I thought this was a lot of strength. Like I said, so far in this tournament, if they've been playing a lot of hands, it was a more passive style. They weren't really aggressive with their loose range. So when he goes all in on the river, I immediately don't like it. It doesn't feel good, but he's ripping pretty thin. He's jamming a lot here, and it doesn't look like he had much on the turn that he would check back. So I was a little perplexed. Couldn't really pin down what he had, but in the end, I just kind of trusted my gut and ended up folding.
I can't beat anything. You win. 2 4s. Wow. What a river. Nice hand.
Like I said, he was a vlog watcher, so he was nice enough to show us he rivered a set. So he had pocket 4s, rivered a set, got lucky, and decided to rip it in. Good for him. We move on with a little bit taken out of our stack. Then we go through that dreaded period of just being card dead, no hands to play, stack is dwindling, blinds are going up. If we see a paint card, we're excited at this point. So now we're down to 10 big blinds with one of those precious blinds already in the middle. Low Jack goes all in for more than we have. And the poker god said, you know what? 2 hours is long enough. Let's give her a hand. I look down at ace queen offsuit, so ecstatic to make the call all in. I can either double up or go home and try to fire another bullet tomorrow. We make the call. Low Jack flips over king queen offsuit. So we're in a really great position. I'll let the footage play out so you can see the run out.
Don't jinx me.
Moment.
All right. Thank you.
Now you got a good stack.
Now we can. Whew. So you can fold happy.
So it's only 8:15 and we're only 10 away from the money. 189 people played this event. 23 were going to cash and move on to day 2. A lot of pressure on the next few orbits to try to make the money, make it to day 2. Our table was noticeably tightening up on this bubble. They were sweating it out. So I'm raising a lot more than usual. But this one, pretty standard open. I have ace jack off in the cutoff. I raised to 16K. At 8K big blind, and the small blind thinks it over for a little while and then jams for a total of 93,000. Okay, normally less than 12 big blinds. We have ace jack. This is a very simple call, but Thinking about it, we're very near the bubble. I have about 175K or so in my stack. So 93 is a really big chunk of it. And then I'm putting myself in jeopardy of bubbling if I'm down to, 10 big blinds or so. I went back and forth a lot. I felt a lot of pressure in this spot. And then I just said, you know what? Screw it. There's a million day ones. I'm not going to come to Texas to be folded for 11 big blinds with ace jack. So I put the money in, and then we see he has ace nine offsuit. So we're in a really great position to really abuse the bubble. We could have over 200K at this point, which was heaps for this moment, and really attack a really tight table and go on to bag heaps for day two. That doesn't happen though. We end up chopping the pot, as you can see. Not the worst. He could have hit a 9. He could have spiked a 9, and then I would have a lot less chips, but slightly disappointing to not get that full bust out and put myself in a really good position to just abuse the bubble. We're inching closer and closer to the bubble. The table is still playing pretty tight, and I open ace jack of hearts under the gun 1 to 22,000. Big blind is actually one of the stacks that has me way covered. He makes the call. Flop comes down 4-3 deuce, 1 heart. So we flop 2 overs, backdoor flush draw, straight draw. Big blind checks to me. And I think I should be checking this back. On the bubble, you want to be checking back a lot more on flops, especially against someone who has you covered. And in general, going forward, I would definitely want to check this spot, I think. I don't really like this bet, but I do bet this time. I bet 20,000. And the big blind knows what he's doing. He knows to put pressure on me. He raises, but he only raises to 45,000. So it's a little baby raise. Pretty cute. Yeah, not gonna shake me when it's only 25K more. So I make the call and really start to sweat it out. The turn comes down, jack of diamonds. Beautiful card for us. He slows down and he checks it over to me. I think I let my emotions get the best of me in this point. I probably could continue betting. I don't think that he's going to slow down with his strongest hands here unless he's getting really tricky, and he only min-raised the flop, so I think he was just trying to see if he could get a cheap steal in. So I should probably just bet this turn. That being said, I don't mind a check either, just pot control against the very best hands that got sneaky. In the end, I checked. The river comes an ace of diamonds. So now it's 3 to a flush, 4 to a wheel. I have top 2 pair, definitely a medium to lowish medium strength hand on this board. But when he checks it to me, it's so funny because I was scared on the turn and slowed down. And now I feel confident enough with his double check that I should go for value with this hand. I obviously don't want to bet too big because I only have 2 pair and I need to get called by worse, right? For this to be good. So I go quite small. I only bet 35,000 and I just pray that he doesn't read too much into this and attack it. And I'm kind of banking on just that. If I thought it was somebody who was really gonna get after it against me, I would just have checked this down and be happy with my showdown. But I got a little greedy. I went for a cute little 35K bet. He goes into the tank for a while, finally makes the call, and when I flip over my hand, I'm really happy to see that it was good. And we got a tiny bit of extra value for our top 2 pair. So we're only 3 away from the money at this point, and you could really feel everyone at the table sweating out this bubble. And this one, under the gun 1, opens to 25,000. Hijack makes the call, button makes the call, and I look down in the small blind with ace king offsuit. Normally this would be so exciting. You have 25 bigs, there's all this dead money, there's 90,000 chips, seemingly dead money in the middle. Not all of it is dead. Under the gun 1 could certainly have a good hand. He's the only one I'm really, really worried about. But all 3 of these guys have me covered. So it's risking everything to be 3 away, to bubble the whole thing, to have run up this stack just to bust it. But I have to do it. I gotta go all in. So I jam everything all in there. 252,000 chips. I send them off into the middle and just keep my fingers crossed under the table that everybody just folds. I don't want anybody to hit a pair or to call me off with a pair and then not hit. Or now I just sit here as under the gun 1 folds, hijack folds, and button goes well into the tank. Button is this guy, Jeremy, who we became friendly with throughout the week in Austin, but you could hear him in this footage. He's just agonizing over this decision.
Three away.
Paired up. Decent pair.
So eventually he does find the fold.
Whatever you want.
We
No?
we
Okay.
faded that one, and looks like we are going to be making the money. All right, somehow we're both still in this tournament. 3 people left to bust. But anyway, he might bust.
I might bust.
We're not gonna jinx him though. That's why we're just gonna put it out there. He might bust.
I feel like I just got jinxed.
No, I have like 360. You have 130. Blinds are gonna be 6K, 12K, 12K. So optimal guy might need a piece of optimal. That's it. That's the update. If we make it through 3 more people, we're automatically in day 2 and we cash. Yay! So, a lot on the line actually. So, fingers crossed. Because Jesse and I both bagged day 1A somehow, we had the rest of the week to have a grand old time in Austin. All right, y'all, so everybody's unbagging for day 2, including us 2. This guy essentially already final tabled. He won 64K. He won 64K at 100, 200 sessions, so we're really proud of him. Good job, baby. And anyway, we're trying to repeat that today by either final tabling or just straight up winning this thing, right? You gonna do it? Day 2, let's do it. Day 2 starts with 264 players remaining out of a field of 2,200 people. The event is really living up to its name. It had a prize pool of $1.1 million. For a $600 buy-in, you guys. This is insane. First place was over 160K. We're really hyped up. I'm really excited. I'm excited to get in there, hopefully run good, and take it all the way to the end. I've already moved tables before I play my first hand. The low jack, she has about 22 big blinds, raises to 25,000. I look down at 8-5 of clubs in the big blind and quickly make the call. Flop comes down, a dream, 4-3 deuce with 2 clubs. So we have an open-ended and a flush draw. She has a short stack, so we're looking to get it in. I check it over to her. She obliges my plan by betting 35,000. I stick to the plan. I'm just trying to get it all in. We have 8 high, but we have a lot of equity. So with no showdown, a lot of equity, I'm going to raise and try to get her off of better hands. She takes a second and then calls. And you guys, she has ace 4 of clubs. We are so screwed. She has top pair, nut flush draw, wheel draw. Ugh, we are not loving this at all. First hand of the day, we stand to lose 220,000 chips right off the bat. Thought the flop looked good for us, but was way better for her. Here's the run out. Turn comes a 10 of spades, the river, we bink. We hit that 8 of diamonds, and unfortunately for her, we somehow hit a miracle river and bust her out of the tournament. Good game to you, and better luck next time. So instead of being down to around 10 big blinds, we have over 600K in our stack, and we're picking up right where we left off on day 1. So a new guy gets moved to our table, and he's got heaps. He has 1.1 million chips in front of him. Makes our 600K look like crumbs. Folds around to me on the button. The small blind had just busted, so it was a dead small blind. It's just me and big stack left. I open 10-8 offsuit to 25,000. He makes the call for 13 more. Heads up, flop comes down ace 7-6 with 2 clubs, and I raise it up to 55,000. A little bit larger, trying to get him to fold, but never bluff the guy who has 1.1 million in chips and a cowboy hat on. He quickly makes the call. Turn comes down 5 of spades. He checks it to me, and I internally die inside because I know when I see that I turn some more equity, I'm going for it. So I continue. I bet 100,000, trying to get him to fold a 6 or a 7. But looking back on it, to be honest, I think that those pairs have a lot of draws or 2 pairs on this turn. So pretty optimistic to go for it again, but I'm an optimistic lady. So I bet 100K. He makes the call, but this time he did not quickly call. He thought about it for a long time. I just, once I make this turn bet, I'm going 3. And especially when he looked really hesitant on the turn, it just confirmed that I'm going to go for it again. The river comes a 7 of clubs. Front door flush draw gets there. If he held on to whatever he had on the turn with a 7, he now makes trips. This is just the absolute worst river card ever. So when he checks it to me, even though in my mind I was going 3, I just have to wave the white flag at this point. Give it to the cowboy here, and that's what I do. I check it back. He flips over queen 7 offsuit. So he led called flop with a 7. That's why he tanked forever on the turn. He wasn't too happy with his 7 anymore, but he still hung in there. And then good for him, he rivered the magical 7 and scoops a big old pot. At this point, we've been in Austin for almost a week now, and I've gotten to know a few people, gotten to meet a few people from the area, and a few of them are at this next table that I moved to. So we're having a great time. Not too many hands of note, to be honest. There's a lot of standard spots, a lot of short stacks, shoving, all that kind of thing. So nothing really to report. Then I looked down at this hand. I had gotten down to around 12 big blinds at this point, and I looked down at pocket 9s under the gun. I had already shoved a few times with a smaller stack and kind of built back up to 12 blinds. So, standard shove with 9s, and I shove. Under the gun one, who I had been talking to, his name is Dat. He was a vlog watcher as well, said hi to me before day 2 even started. He quickly makes the call. I'm not feeling good about it now. And everyone folds, and he flips over pocket kings. So we're hoping for a 9 one time.
Ooh, I got a spade. No. All right, good game, guys.
That's it for the lodge. Bought in for 600, cashed out for 1654 for a profit of a little over $1,000. So not bad for a tournament. That's all for now. Hope you guys enjoyed. Good luck at the tables, and until next time, peace.